and welcome to the Holiday Home Tour. I'm Brooke Gianetti.
And I'm Steve Gianetti.
And I'm an interior designer.
I'm an architect.
And we are honored to be hosting the Holiday Home Tour this year. Steve and I are really excited to be joining you today to show you these three very beautiful homes here in Ojai. You know, there are a lot of things that make Ojai unique, and there are things that we fell in love with that
absolutely.
Also the three present-day owners of the houses you're going to see fell in love with about Ojai, as well as the people who built the first two homes.
Yes, absolutely. There's a sense of this enclosed valley that gives it a real sense of space and also creates a very unique light. The way the light kind of goes east-west and bounces off the topas in the evening. It's actually very reminiscent of Italy and Spain, and a lot of these houses draw inspiration from those places.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have that kind of climate as well, and so it's a lovely opportunity to connect the houses with the gardens. The gardens become really important because we have that kind of indoor-outdoor lifestyle. I think all three of the houses really connect with their environment and the gardens around them.
Yeah, the key with living in Ojai is there's so many beautiful days, but sometimes in the summer it gets a little hot. You want to have the thick walls, the overhangs. You want to be able to kind of control the climate, but you want to be able to kind of see these magnificent views and experience this amazing light that the valley has to offer. Yes. So all of these things are such an important part of the town, and we looked at all that when we designed our house. The sort of Spanish architecture, the Italian countryside, and agricultural buildings. And these houses draw on many of the same influences and create kind of a world of their own in this beautiful place in Southern California.
Yes, I think it's interesting. There just seems to be a lot of people who come to Ojai, us included, who come to this place to kind of fulfill their dream. That's what Fred Fisher talked about with his home, and even the history of the other two historic homes. It was really people, whether it was Libby trying to create this beautiful city, and then these individual homes, or Pierpont, the people who hired him originally to do that house.
They wanted to make a little development, and everybody kind of wanted to leave their mark on this beautiful place.
I think a lot of people might find California Christmases to be a bit unique.
80 degrees and sunny.
80 degrees and sunny. But I still feel like there's still a holiday spirit that can be had. I love how they brought all the natural decorations into the house. It's really, they're not overly done. They really did a beautiful job.
Ojai Blooms did a nice job with the way it was decorated.
There's also some lovely artwork in the house. I noticed that Toulouse-Lautrec. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, there's a lot of local artists in Ojai, and so it's fun. You'll see art on people's houses, and a lot of it comes from just local artists. We have pieces here from people in town. So that's a really nice thing about living in this little valley, is the art stays. The art in Ojai stays in Ojai.
And probably around the world, but
yeah, exactly.
Yes, but some of it does stay here.
Some of it stays in Ojai.
Yes.
And this was the little entry foyer with the great I think French
It's all-
posters from their New York apartment. So they're bringing a little bit of New York back into town. That's all lined with these beautiful Parisian posters. And this is upstairs bedrooms with the big windows. That light from two sides is so important. And this idea of getting these long vistas, I can imagine on a beautiful day, getting these long vistas both up and down the valley from these master bedrooms is really great.
This house, really the way it's decorated and the way even the decorations lead towards the garden outside, and everything is decorated outside as well. I think that's unique to California.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to celebrate without having to trudge through the snow. In this part, you see the little looking down from the balcony into the back courtyard, because the back of the house
That's where
is
I'm
this courtyard.
staying.
That's your spot?
That's
Yeah,
bench,
that's a great
that bench
spot.
right there. That's where I'm sitting and looking at that view, and looking down into where the pool area and the backyard. You know, I can just imagine that this would be a lovely place to just hang out and enjoy the Ojai winter, 80-degree winter. And I think, you know, the nice thing about this house is there's cozy places and there's sunny places, and then there's more intimate kind of moody places. And I think the dining room just feels like it just would be a wonderful place to celebrate the holidays.
Yeah,
And
it feels very East Coast in there or something. The way with the colors and the furniture, it just felt, you know, very much like kind of an East Coast Christmas in that room.
and classic with the spode dishes, and just really beautiful.
The wonderful pool outside that you can use on Christmas Day, and the great little pizza oven, and the way it all connects to the garden and the landscape. I thought, you know, when we visited the house, I just thought it was lovely.
Yes,
that
and
piece
kind
of
of the Mediterranean plantings with the bougainvillea, you know, the oak trees and pomegranate trees. It's just really lovely. And did you notice how they decorated with the pomegranates?
I know.
I thought that was great.
Lots of pomegranates.
Yes, yes. The nice thing about Ojai is that you could also just celebrate outside. So the table is all decorated for the holidays outside as well.
Yeah, you get that
light.
nice light filtering through the
valley.
oak trees. And this is you can see the mountains in the background, and how this house really connects to the landscape and makes a beautiful statement.
And did you see
The
all those
landscape.
original tiles too?
Yeah, those were really cool.
Yeah.
I think some of them may have been made in Ojai in a local foundry. And they have all these great architectural features all over the house. But that's one of the fun things about this style, is all these little elements that really make it special. Look at those beautiful mountains in the background.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
And how the house just lights up.
Yeah,
Yeah, really beautiful.
so cool.
Well, I thought being able to go see Fred and Jenny's house was quite a treat. Very exciting. I've always loved his work, and I was excited to see what his version of Ojai, you know, what he was going to build for himself there.
Yeah.
And it did not disappoint.
Yeah, the whole idea of being inspired by the Italian countryside and a life in Rome when he was one of the Rome Prize recipients was great. So they built this sort of almost like the idea of a Tuscan villa on the hill in the Italian countryside. So you're inspired by the Italian countryside, but then he's a modern architect, very talented one. And so what he wanted to do was sort of reinterpret it in a very modern way. And he actually sort of drew upon the agricultural history of Ojai to use this corrugated metal on the outside, and kind of created this. I think of it almost like a cube of art in the space, because it's filled with art. It
Right.
is art, and it's sort of built of art.
I find Fred Jenny to be very interesting because, there's that balance of modern and also kind of whimsical eclecticism.
Yeah.
Whether
Some
it's
very interesting furniture pieces that they had picked, that they'd brought with them. And so it was their history, almost the history of their life in this place.
And they had an amazing collection of artwork. But, the interesting thing about Fred and Jenny is that everything had meaning. Everything had a story, whether it was John Nava's tapestry for the Princeton Library,
Yes.
or the beautiful 1874 flag, American flag, that his great-grandmother was married under. I mean, everything had a story.
And that Killer Kitchen by Roy McMakin.
I love that, and the pops of color.
Yeah, the red table with the red volcanic top to it. But just the way it was painted and cut, it was just like McMakin's furniture, with all the cool chairs that are sort of partially disassembled. It was like kind of an ode to a Midwestern kitchen, with all the diamond door and all that. I thought it was probably some childhood memories of a kitchen. It was like a kid's
Right.
drawing of a kitchen, the way it was done.
Really beautiful.
The stair rail was really unique. I had thought it was sort of based on some sort of agricultural reference, but he said it was actually some mathematical equation that he had used in another job, and he just loved it so much that he used it in his house. You actually could see through the bookshelves to the two-story space beyond. So as you take more books out, the view gets better.
And so many unique little spaces to be in. Like, my favorite had to be the library up top, with that little, place to lie down.
Looking
in the
out
window,
the windows,
window seat. In each house, I picked a little place where I would spend my time, and that was the place where I would have spent a lot of my time. I love the story of the library also, how he
Basket
designed
of books.
the basket of books, but
Yeah.
it was also had a little bit of a agrarian farm.
With the chicken wire to keep the books from falling through. And the idea that you saw all the backs of the books, the spines were on the inside,
Right.
but you were seeing all the pages from the other room. So it had this sort of beautiful feeling, and it just sort of floated in the middle of this two-story space. So the idea of this basket of books that you could see from all over the room, because he's just inspired by books.
And it became a piece of art unto itself.
Yeah, so he's an art, he was using really showing his piece of art in the space.
My favorite view had to be in their bedroom. I mean, the seeing the mountains from their bedroom.
Yeah, just stunning.
Pretty spectacular. And I thought that Fred did a great job of putting those windows in the corner and just having that whole view.
Incredible vista.
And I thought the flowers by Eileen at Palomar Farms were spot on. You know what I loved about the bathroom? You could walk through the shower and go into this beautiful secret patio on the other side. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I also thought the sink
sinks,
bases.
yeah, the sort of mix and match sink his and hers.
Right. I think they were Chinese antiques.
Yeah, they were
and
cool.
that they turned into the antique.
Look at that view from looking out the window. Just amazing.
I know. Who needs to see yourself when you could be looking at that view?
Right.
Forget about that.
Yeah, there's the little balcony. And the again, using that kind of trellis, again, it sort of feels like landscape, but it's this mathematical equation. It's very interesting the way that worked. And you've got, basically it's open to the sky because the night sky in Ojai is just phenomenal. The existing site had all these old stone walls, so it felt a little bit like a Roman ruin in places where there was like old houses and old footings and old foundations. And so he kind of put the house up on the hill, but all these pieces stayed there. And then they put in this amazing pool with the stone walls, were kind of a continuation of the old stone walls. And I thought that was great. And these big stairs that led down into the olive orchard. The olive orchard was amazing.
Yeah, I loved how there was places to discover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could kind of wander around the property and just discover these places. And it just felt so Ojai, because like the olive orchard is a very Ojai thing. I think one of the things that makes their property so unique is that amazing cistern.
Yeah, it's this big oval-shaped, it's like a little hill right at the entry.
Right.
And they have this wonderful table up on top, and he tells the story of, I guess it was his birthday party, where they did a concert in the cistern.
Yes.
And so you sit up on this thing, you get this wonderful valley view. I thought it was amazing.
Yes, and that table is pretty incredible too, although Fred mentioned that it is so heavy, I guess when they put it in, that's where it will stay for the millennia.
Through the millennia, that's where that lives.
Just staying there.
Exactly.
I think his property is really, he did a beautiful job, both of them, he
Yeah.
and Jenny, of creating a place that would be wonderful for gatherings.
Yeah, I guess they wanted a house that would work for the four of them and also work for 100 people. And it really looked like they were able to do that.
The Ojai Music Festival is dedicated to fostering a new generation of musicians and engaging underserved audiences through its Bravo education and community programs for nearly 3 decades.
Bravo believes that a robust music education is vitally important for students. Through Bravo programs, students learn the fundamentals of music making, engage in creative problem solving, develop teamwork skills, and discover how music relates to other core curriculum, enriching students' foundational skills for academic and personal success.
These programs are offered year-round for students, seniors, and disabled adults, and Bravo programs also provide families with free access to concerts and musical events. Even through these difficult times of the pandemic, the festival and Bravo remain an integral part of students' online learning. At the core of the Bravo program is its artist residencies. These recurring programs encourage musicians and teachers to work cooperatively to promote meaningful learning through enforcement and mentoring. Thank you so much for your support. I thought it was quite a treat to be able to go into this house as well. Because
Yeah, we're looking at this one from the road forever. It just was wondering what was in it. So this is a George Washington Smith's house that was actually commissioned by Edward Libby. the guy who sort of is responsible for Ojai. And it's kind of a classic George Washington Smith house with the single room Andalusian farmhouse look. You get these wonderful thick walls and the big living room open on both sides looking into the courtyard. This amazing collection of art in the house as well.
Yes, a lot of Native American artwork that they've collected, just really beautiful. And I think that's why Irma at Angela's Flowers went with more of a harvest theme for decoration in this house. I thought that their collection of Stickley furniture was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really complemented the house.
It not only complemented the house, but I thought it complemented the artwork as well.
Yes, that Dale and bronze version of the scalp.
Oh, really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. And there's so many great rooms in the house. This particular room was sort of a new version. Because it was an historical house, when you built a new piece to the house, you wanted to sort of pick the same theme, but not have it be a copy. So they did a really nice job of sort of integrating the new and the old and connecting it to its history.
I also liked how even the things that were new, like even the tiles, were made by a place here in Ojai.
Yeah, we visited that place. It's wonderful. So it's great to see it work. And the way these French doors all opened into the gardens, and the way that house connected inside and outside to the front porch, and all the oak trees that surrounded it. I really like that. And it had that cozy, the way these old houses, you would walk from room to room to room. So you walked into the living room, through the dining room, into the kitchen. There were really no hallways ever in this style of house. And it actually creates a very kind of cozy environment. You're not walking past rooms like you do in a modern house.
My favorite part of the house, or one of them, was actually the walking into the house from that courtyard.
Past the fountain.
Yes. I think it really gave you that sense that you were doing this kind of transitioning into kind of the house. So it was like going from more of the garden to this courtyard and then into the house was really lovely.
Yeah, it was very cool the way
and
they did
inviting.
That. Mm-hmm. The way they did the kitchen and kind of they had opened it up, but they kind of kept all the old cabinets. So there were a lot of interesting details. And then the second floor, it was a series of small rooms that they opened up. So they kept the kind of coziness of the small rooms, but they were able to open it to the views and that great outdoor patio and
I think
all this pieces.
The master bedroom was actually made up of the two original bedrooms in the house, and they turned it into the master bedroom.
Yeah, and then one of the other bedrooms was kind of turned into a master bath. So you had this kind of cool hallway that went between the two.
Yes.
And then the way the gardens connected, there was the kind of cactus garden that had all these rare cacti, and the way it kind of wrapped all around the house with the way you had these little kind of dry stream beds that, in the springtime when it rains, you'd get these kind of water rushing down, and I can imagine the sound of all that and the way that everything kind of connected, and that beautiful swimming pool with the stone walls that surrounded it. And just look at the lines on the house, the way there's a trick George Washington Smith used where the roofs would kind of taper up at each end, so it looked like the house was sagging and was older.
Yeah.
It's like one of the great little tricks that
Well,
they would do in
I
these
think-
old houses.
I think George Washington Smith added some very charming, quirky details to all of his homes.
Yeah.
You know, none of them were the same. Even this one that was like as a kind of proof of concept spec house still had so much charm to
Yeah,
it.
and a lot of warmth. This little porch was wonderful with the little kind of concrete or plaster opening in the end. You get a
Right.
little bit of breeze through it. And then the old carriage house doors that had their office was wonderful.
You know, I think there's one thing that all three homeowners have in common, and that we have in common with them as well, is that when they all first saw the houses or their properties, they felt like they were home. And I think we felt the same way
Yeah,
when
absolutely. That was the thing that I felt when we saw the land.
Yeah. We're all so fortunate to live here in this beautiful Ojai Valley. We want to thank you all for joining us for this holiday home tour virtually this year, hopefully in real life next year. And thank you for supporting Bravo and the Ojai Music Festival. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.